You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
Hello and welcome back to the Scottish Football Zone. No Michael tonight, so you've got me hosting ahead of a big Edinburgh derby. Of course, Hearts taking on Hibs tonight, and it's huge stakes. Obviously, Edinburgh derby, there's always huge stakes. You want to get victory over your rivals. You want bragging rights. You want to go to school the next day, rip into your mates. We all know what it's about in these big derbies, but also there could be huge consequences within the title race this evening if Hibs were to pick up the win or even a draw. But before we get into all that, I'm joined by Ethan Barlow ahead of this massive match. Ethan, how are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a massive match. Obviously, for Hearts, I think it speaks for itself. Obviously, have to need to bounce back from that defeat to St Mirren a week ago. So a bit of a strange build-up to the game that both these sides have obviously dropped out of the Scottish Cup so early. And then for Hibs, they've got their own battle to fight for certainly fifth place, because I think we've highlighted how well Falkirk have been playing recently, and they look like a team with a little bit more of momentum. But I believe Hibs have only lost one of their last 8 in the Scottish Premiership, so they're in a decent run of form, and that way they obviously came from behind to get a big win against Dundee United as well the last time out. So massive game for both teams, as it always is, but this one feels like a really, really big one, and it could dictate where the title lands come May. And I think Hibs fans will certainly want to be the ones that contributed. They've obviously done that already as one of the few teams to beat Hearts this season in the reverse fixture, but they'll be one of the ones that really want to put the nail in the coffin of their rivals' charge towards that Scottish Premiership title.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we sort of talk about Hearts, which I'm sure we'll spiral into chat about, the title and where it's going to go, I just want to focus on Hibs for the moment. Ethan briefly mentioned sort of their form there. If we go back to that 3-2 win in December, December the 27th, they beat Hearts. Then they went beat Aberdeen, Kilmarnock. They drew with Motherwell, which isn't a result to be ashamed of at all. They then lost, unfortunately, to Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup, then battered by Falkirk 4-1, drew 0-0 with Rangers, and got back to winning ways against Dundee United in a game that didn't showcase the best quality of goals, maybe not the best quality of football. And I think we mentioned it the other day, Hibs, they're inconsistent, very much so this season. And they need to find that consistency if they want to keep sort of challenging for sort of those top places. They've fallen away from Motherwell quite a bit recently, but this would be a great opportunity for them tonight to get one over on their rivals.
Yeah, and as you sort of spoke about in relation to Motherwell, they're only 4 points behind. Motherwell do have that game in hand that was postponed at the one at Dens Park, I think it was, they were meant to play last week, and it was postponed. And then obviously they have the massive task of playing what I would call, certainly based on the last 2 games, a free scoring Rangers side. So they can really put pressure on Motherwell tonight. So there's a lot for Hibs to really fight for. I think they've been happy with what they've done in the window, despite getting a record sale for Kieran Bowie. Some of the players that they looked to brought in look really good. They made a couple of changes tonight. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really entertaining game, and it probably made a little bit more balanced by the considering the fact of for Hearts who's suspended and who's injured. But even then, I think they still had most of their key players when Hibs turned them over at Easter Road. So Hibs have shown this season that they're capable of battling with the big three, so to say, in the league this season, and they want to show that again. Because I think both Hibs and Hearts have got wins at each other's stadiums in recent seasons, so it's not something that they've went a long time without, and I think they'll be well capable tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hibs have looked like one of the teams, along with St Mirren, probably just them and St Mirren, that look like they've, troubled, Hearts this season. They're like, they are. Sorry, I've completely lost my point there as Reagan joins us. No, but Hibs and St Mirren have looked like the two teams. All right, mate. How are you doing?
Aye, doing well, mate. Aye, doing well.
Good to have you on. We were sort of just discussing that Hibs and St Mirren mainly have looked like maybe two of the teams that can actually give the Jambos trouble this season. What are your thoughts on that?
Aye, I think you're spot on. I would also say Motherwell as well, because Motherwell play a great brand of football. And I'm probably really enjoying them the most this season, apart from Partick Thistle. But I think in general, guys, I think if you look at the overall standard of the league this year, I think Rangers and Celtic have been terrible, but I think the quality of the rest of the actual top flight has improved. I don't think we should play that down, because I think at the end of the season, I think when we get to the actual top six and bottom six, it's going to be one of the best in years. Because if you look at when Rangers go to Tynecastle again, when they play Motherwell again, I think it's just going to be a brilliant league to be involved in.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that, Reagan. And I think some people are saying that the quality of the league is worse overall because Celtic and Rangers aren't maybe at the heights you would say for Celtic mostly have been in recent seasons. But I think it gives the other teams in the league a little bit of confidence to go and say, well, no, we can challenge these other sides and we can compete with any team in the league on a day. And I think that's what we've seen. Obviously, massive credit to managers like John McGlynn, Jens Bertholascu, Derek McInnes for giving the players the confidence to go and really have a go at the big dogs this season. And it's made for an excellent league from top to bottom.
And I know people.
Still so many stories to be finished.
Sorry, Ethan. I know people would generally don't want to hear this, but I'm actually quite glad that Rangers and Celtic both drew each other in the quarterfinals, because I think it makes a brilliant end to the Scottish Trophy as well. I mean, I said at the start of the season,
gives Thistle a big chance. Is that why you're chuffed?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll get a free pass to the final. No, but I think in general, Alex, I just look for a great Scottish product. I mean, at the end of the day, I did say at the start of the season, the Scottish final would be between Hearts and Motherwell. But I was wrong in one end, but I think Motherwell could actually do it this year.
Yeah, definitely could.
Definitely. No, I agree with that because, one of Rangers and Celtic will be out. And I think it's been shown in multiple games this season that both of them can have bad games against pretty much nearly every team in the division. Certainly most of the teams still left in this competition and within the Scottish Cup. Yeah, so I would definitely agree. I think it's a good thing that they've been drawn against each other. Opens up opportunities for other clubs to sort of, take the mantle on and maybe bring a Scottish Cup home. And obviously the team we're here to talk about tonight, the league leaders, are already out of the competition. So you've got the three favourites. One of them's already out, and you've got one of them who is definitely going to go out against the other. So it's definitely interesting. I just want to move quickly go over the Hibs starting 11 because we were talking about Hibs first of all. So this is going to sound funny because they did that thing where they've put it in number order. So you've got Salinger, Boyle, Chaiwa, Iredale, Nicky Cadden, Barlaser, Paslak, Andrews, Rocky Bashiri, Garananga, and Dane Scarlett. A few of the new signings in there.
Scarlett, very good player. Best. Very good player. He's a European champion as well. Yeah, I think
Was he part of the team? Was he part?
he was Alex. Aye, he scored in the run. He scored in the run.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't even realise that. No.
So was Mikey Moore.
Scarlett's looked good though. To be fair,
He's a good player. He's a good
was he
player.
part? Was he part of the squad as well? I
Aye,
didn't realise they actually used him.
Mikey Moore was playing a lot of games in the Europa League, so that Ange Postecoglou could rest players to finish 17th in the league.
Yeah, I think Spurs might be lucky to finish 17th in the league at this rate, Megan. But yeah, it's an interesting Hibs lineup.
It's sad time.
Obviously, David Gray hasn't changed too much, and I think why would he? Because they get the win against Dundee United. I know maybe not the most convincing. I think it's Jordan Abita and Eli Yuan who drop out, and Kai Andrews January pick up on loan from Coventry. I believe he's still his parent club is. I think he was on loan at Motherwell for a spell last season, and then Nicky Cadden obviously coming in as well. So yeah, I think Hibs have molded out a really strong squad after the window, and they're going to be one that's expecting maybe like they had last season under David Gray to have a really good run towards the end of the season and boost their chances certainly at European places, because I think that can be Hibs' number one aspiration now, obviously with being out the Scottish Cup. And yeah, he's made some excellent. Just to go back to the Scottish Cup point, you've got two of the biggest clubs in Scotland out already. You're going to have one of the other two biggest clubs out, and then you're going to have the holders, Aberdeen, or one of the form teams in the country, Motherwell, out as well. So it really does open the door to maybe a Falkirk or a Partick Thistle to really make a run deep into the cup.
You would go even you're on the Partick Thistle train. You're on the train.
on the Wilson train.
Get your ticket, Ethan.
No, but Partick Thistle. I wouldn't be surprised if they even made it to Hampden, to be totally honest. You know.
Yeah, I'm hoping of memories of 1971. Partick Thistle fans will be telling you when they beat Celtic 4-1 in the final.
Well, if there's anyone watching that was about back then, maybe you can give us an insight. I doubt it. I doubt there'll be anyone watching who's like, I don't know, 60 or something to have a memory of that. You wouldn't, maybe, probably you'd need to be like 60 to have any sort of memory of that, wouldn't you? So, yeah, if there's any 60-year-olds watching and you happen to be a Partick Thistle fan and remember that, get your comment in. Thank you to Ian as well for that lovely comment, and it certainly is an exciting week ahead of Scottish football. Let's talk about the Jambos for a second. Obviously, they didn't play in the Scottish Cup at the weekend. As we mentioned, they were already out. However, Reagan, their last result, a disappointing defeat against St Mirren. They did get a red card. However, even before the red card, I thought they looked second best all over the park.
Yeah, they went. Obviously, I didn't see the match, Alex. I was at Queen's Park last Tuesday night, but
of course.
From the highlights I've seen there, I thought St Mirren totally dominated the match. Obviously, like you said, Hearts went down to 10 men, but I thought St Mirren before the Reds actually played really well. So I wonder what you've got to say, especially since you've got a wee thing going on with Stephen Robinson.
This has got blown out of proportion. It just turned out to be sort of rage baiting Robbie in the chat, didn't it? It was brilliant. I don't have anything against Stephen Robinson. I think just one time I said I didn't rate him, and then it got people just taken it and ran with it. And at times I've just ran with it to wind up Robbie. But no, it was a great result for St Mirren. I thought they were the better side. They almost didn't get the win though, because they sort of showcased their inability to score. I think reason why they're the lowest scoring team in the division this season. You could definitely see it, but they did get over the line. And yeah, Hearts probably a little bit concerning for them that they were so poor in that game. I mean, and coming off the back of a really positive sort of 3-0 win away in Tannadice, they were really poor. And I think Hearts, they've done that a couple of times this season, but they always seem to bounce back. Ethan, it's a big opportunity for them to bounce back tonight. Do you think this is the right game for it to sort of take that chance? And a big win tonight could sort of spearhead them in their title race.
I think it is. It's a massive opportunity to get back to winning ways, and what better way to do it than to right the wrongs of the Derby defeat of what would have been a few months ago now, in the reverse fixture at the turn of the year. I think it was around that time.
Just over a month. I think it was the 27th of December.
All right, yeah. And obviously they'll need that confidence going into the go to Ibrox, because it'll be a difficult place to go. I think Rangers would be favourites at the minute, so Hearts will need to go there and probably try and avoid losing at the best, or at the worst rather. And it's a massive opportunity. I think it may be a step too far, but I think Derek McInnes is lineup choice is very interesting. He's made a couple of changes.
Do you want to just read that out, Ethan, and then we can comment on it?
Yep. Yeah, I'll read it out. So Alexander Swallow, Milne, Finlay, McEntee, Kent, Chesnikov, Leonard, Beningame, Kazridis, Braga, and Kabori. And I believe the two changes are Craig Halkett obviously drops out through a suspension because of the red card they picked up last week. He's replaced by Frankie Kent, who I believe came on for him in the first half last week. And then the other change is a bit of a strange one. So Michael Steinwender drops out, but he's replaced by Islam Chesnikov, who's...
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. That's a really aggressive sort of lineup he's chosen there.
Yeah, I think he might be going for a back three. I don't know. It might be a back three of Kent, Finlay, and McEntee. We've learned obviously this season that Ocean McEntee is very versatile and can play in a lot of positions. It may be a 4-4-2 possibly. But yeah, it's going to be something interesting regardless, because he's got four what you would say attacking players, adding Chesnikov into the mix.
And he's got the full support of the whole nation of Kazakhstan. I'm looking at the comments here.
Yeah, they go absolutely crazy for the football. I think it's probably one of the fastest growing nations for the sport. Obviously, I think people remember when the champions Karen Amati played Celtic, and obviously they've got
I don't bring it up again, Ethan. Celtic fans
and we've got the young emerging talents as well. Obviously, Chesnikov was one of them. Satpayev going to Chelsea in the summer's probably the main one of that. But yeah, Chesnikov, he hasn't actually been in the squads recently. His only substitute appearance for Hearts since joining was in the Scottish Cup defeat against Falkirk, and he's not made the bench in the Scottish Premiership since the 2-0 win over St Mirren at Tynecastle. So he's been brought out the cold a little bit by McInnes. He's seen something that he likes. And the other interesting thing on the Hearts bench is that we might see Rogers Matto for the first time, because I think this is the first time he's been listed in the Hearts squad. So yeah, he could be a big player for them, and they might need to use him tonight.
I've got a question for you guys. I've not seen you since the transfer window, so I want you to put your neck on the line now and tell me who's going to win the league.
Rangers are going to win the league.
Yep, same response for me. I think Rangers will win the league.
I'm not putting my neck on the line yet.
Ethan never puts his neck on the line. His best mates with Michael. He's always sitting on that fence. He's always sitting on the fence with Michael. He never puts his neck on the line.
Well, because we've not seen enough to suggest.
You've seen 20 games. You've seen.
Blooming heck!
Okay, if you put gun to my head, I would say Celtic. But if you asked me at the
Oh,
minute who my favourites are, I'd say Rangers.
well, that was my original question. Who's your favourites?
Favourites at the moment, I have Rangers, just purely off the fact they played an extra game than Celtic and got more points in the bag.
And the fact they're better than them.
Yeah, we'll see, but
We did see.
well, right, okay. But I just think if I had to give a prediction now, I would say Celtic, but I'm not ready to give a prediction because there's still massive games to be played. And I think after this week, I might have a better
That's the whole
idea.
point of our prediction, though. Before the big, massive
There's no
games.
point putting a prediction on because you put a prediction on early in the season saying Hearts were going to win the league, and now you've said Rangers are going to win the league. And then what if Rangers fall off a cliff? And then Celtic are top of the league. What are you going to say then? Celtic are going to win? Well, that's just pointless.
No,
Doesn't make any sense.
I'll never say that. But
You never say that even if Celtic have all but won the league.
yeah, as long as
You
it's
still say Rangers are
mathematically,
going to win the league.
as long as it's mathematically possible, I'll always say Rangers are going to win the league.
I think
Except from back in that when I did say Hearts were going to win the league. Because I thought Rangers were dead and buried, and I think I was just trying to cling on to the fact I was so bitter at that point. I was trying to cling on to the fact that's really hoping Celtic wouldn't win it. So I was back in Hearts. I thought they would do it, but Rangers were like 8th at that point or something, and yeah, that's why I said that at the time. But no, Ethan, but I get your point about not making predictions and stuff, but it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? It's not serious.
Okay,
It's
well,
like-
if you're gun to my head, I have to make a prediction right now. I would say Celtic.
Okay, so Reagan, you said Rangers. I've said Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
And
Just because, sorry guys, just because I feel like from watching both Celtic and Rangers, I think that Celtic over the last few weeks have been very boring to watch in terms of it's been a struggle, it's been a slog. I don't think there's been any kind of matches where you think this is one-way traffic. Celtic are playing really well here. I think like, in terms of when Martin O'Neill's been back in, I think if you said to him, right, Martin, have you enjoyed most of the matches? He'll probably tell you no, but he'll say Celtic have won all the matches. So I think in terms of everybody asked Martin O'Neill right now about Celtic as well, he'd probably say that they're not favourites because I think Celtic are just doing the bare minimum right now and winning matches. But I think over the course of the next 15 matches, I think eventually from Celtic's point of view, I think that'll take its toll because I think there's only so many times you can struggle against Dundee, struggle against Motherwell, struggle against Falkirk at home. I think there's only so many times where you can struggle and it not bite you on the bum because at the end of the day, I know Rangers are not playing great themselves, but I think one thing you can say is that Danny Rowe's done a fantastic job with the Rangers in terms of putting them in a place where it's actually genuinely possible because I think Alex was spot on in terms of I think every sort of Rangers pundit, even Chris Boyd in the start of October had a Jambos top on after the Jambos beat Celtic. So I think that was because Rangers were 13 points behind at that point. So I think that was pretty fair from me as well, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'd just to caveat though, I'd say your points about Celtic sort of not playing well and getting away with it and stuff. Rangers have shown, even under Danny Rowe, that they're susceptible to dropping points. I mean, they drew with Hibs just the other week there. They drew with Falkirk, Dundee United. I don't think they've only lost to Hearts in the domestically, and that's the big challenge coming up at the weekend as well. So just a caveat what you're saying, Reagan, about Celtic maybe not playing the best but still getting results.
I'm going to ask you guys a question because this is my genuine belief. I think if the Jambles don't win any of the next 2 games, I don't think you can consider them being in a title race. Because I think that if Celtic go and win tomorrow and Rangers go and beat Motherwell and Hearts don't win against their local rivals tonight and then they get beat by Rangers on Saturday, I think you can wave the black and white flag.
See, this is the kind of thing why I think predictions at this sort of point or this avenue when there's such a massive week ahead for 2 teams, well, for all 3 teams, but fixture wise, you look at it.
Yeah, but do you not see what I mean? Even in terms of
I think
it's so important in terms of Hearts that they actually get 3 points tonight and then build on it, because if they go in the next 2 matches and they get 0 points, Celtic and Rangers could potentially have 6. And
I know. I understand that. I agree with that.
Hearts were 9 points clear of Celtic and 13 points clear of Rangers. So, I know you're saying that it's still early, but potentially you could say that Hearts have bottled it as well.
Yeah, you could say that, but at the end of the day, this is it's a fairy tale season we're in for Hearts so far, and there's still a long way to go, and it'd still be an incredible achievement if they were even to get second. I know the Hearts fans will like to hear that, but I understand your point, Reagan, about Hearts. I'd put them third favourite. If they weren't to pick up any points, they'd be third favourites behind Celtic and Rangers, not a doubt at all. But you can't write them out the title race because they could bounce back. You never know.
That's what I'm going to do, because I think that if they get 0 points for the next 2 games, you can wave the white flag.
But that's just so reactionary, because people last week were, or maybe however long ago it was, when Rangers dropped their first points in a while against Hibs, that Rangers weren't going to be able to win the league anymore. All 3 teams have shown that they're not good enough to win every game. It's not going to happen. They're going to drop points along the way. It's whoever picks up the most points. Celtic haven't been playing well. They've been winning games. Martin O'Neill hasn't lost a domestic match yet. And I think Celtic will get better because of their new signings. I think Rangers will get better because of their new signings. And I also think Hearts will get better because they're going through a period of having injured and suspended players. And probably the most difficult part of the season in that sense. So I understand your point. I completely understand that. But I don't think any team's going to go and win every game from now until the end of the season, or not lose a game.
Yeah, no, I totally get that as well. Totally.
So,
but my point is, if Hearts go into the next week and they lose 3 games in the trot, the squad's not going to be happy, and they're not going to be thinking we're going to win the league. I think the squad are going to be thinking we just threw this away.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Hearts.
Sorry, Ethan. I was just going to say, I don't think. I understand what both of you are saying, and I agree with both of you in a sense. I don't think you can 100% write them off if they don't win both these games, or if they lose both these games. However, I think you could also say it's dependent on other results elsewhere. I mean, obviously, Celtic should win their fixtures, but we're talking as if that they've already got the 6 points in the bag. We're talking as if Rangers have already beaten Motherwell and then they're going to go and thump Hearts on Sunday. So, there's loads of sort of hypotheticals and different scenarios you can talk into. But if Hearts, if they were to lose those 2 games, 100%, Ethan, you can't write them off. But what I would say is it's a devastating blow to the season. It's probably, the worst 2 games you could lose at that time, because if we're in a scenario tonight, and this is all, I don't really like talking like hypothetical. If someone drops points here, drop points there, but I'm just going to lay it out. If we're in a scenario tonight where if Hibs beat Hearts, Rangers tomorrow could be level on points with them after they beat if they beat Motherwell, and then could be in a scenario where this time next week Rangers are 3 points clear at the top of the Premiership table. Yeah, so I think the results are so crucial. But I don't like talking like hypotheticals like that because there's a comment
No, I
here.
totally get it. But my point of view is that I think if Hearts have got any chance of in the 18th of May, if three of us are to come on and go, Hearts are going to be champions. I think the only way they're going to be champions is if they come out of these two matches with at least 4 points.
No, I disagree. I think even if Hibs lose tonight and get a point against Rangers, I just don't think you can beat them out with Hearts. Yeah, sorry, yeah. If Hearts were to lose tonight to Hibs and then get a point against Rangers, so 1 point from 6, they would still be what level with Rangers? With Rangers to go back to Tynecastle?
Yeah, but I think
so.
I think
That's why I said I don't like talking hypothetical points.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. But I'm just trying to stir the debate here, guys. I'm enjoying it.
Motherwell might pump Rangers tomorrow and all this talk's rubbish, and then Celtic will be the favourites. Livy might show up and be prime Barcelona at Parkhead. We don't actually know.
This is why I say predictions at this stage.
Predictions are different from hypotheticals, though.
Yep, no, I agree with you guys.
Predictions is different from doing points hypotheticals because then you just get bogged down. Predictions are fun because you can just say something silly and you don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, Celtic will win the league.
I'm paid to be here, so
I don't agree with that comment at all.
Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Yeah, a catalyst.
But what potential things
he'll be on the tweet.
You're very dismissive, Alex.
What'd you say?
I'm saying you're being very dismissive of Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, Perry Edwards as well. She's some singer.
Yeah, well, she can. I don't know. She can sing to him when he's lying on the treatment table after 2 games. Because if we're talking predictions, I think that's what's going to happen to him.
Right, Alex. But your prediction was. I remember you made this similar prediction about Kieran Tierney, who's played and started and been available for almost every Celtic game this season.
Yeah, so I was wrong about that.
So you're just going to be wrong again?
I don't know if I'm going to be wrong again.
Well, why?
That's the beauty of a prediction.
On the downfall of him, you shouldn't wish it. I'm
not wishing on his downfall. I'm just saying what I think will happen.
Okay.
I don't think
the comment said
you fully understand what a prediction is. It's when you don't know what's going to happen, and that's when you say something.
Okay, but Ian in the chat didn't say would be a catalyst. He said could be a catalyst. Could Oxlade-Chamberlain be a catalyst for Celtic, Alex?
He could.
Yes, of course he could. Of course he could. So there you go.
I'll be honest. I thought it said he will be a catalyst.
Well,
so I misread that. Now Ian's saying I'm talking mince. No, I think his injury record is poor, but he is a great player. I'm not denying that. I just think he won't manage to get over that. He wasn't great in Turkey. He was 2 years in Turkey, and he wasn't a standout there either. So, I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that he'll come in instantly and make an impact for Celtic. I think he'll take a while. He's not played a game of football since last season. He's been training with Arsenal since May. He's not played in an actual professional game of football. I think there's a lot of mitigating factors, going into this. So he definitely could be a catalyst, but I don't think he will be.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to say, "Oh, I think he'll be injured," and you just had to say you didn't think he was going to be a catalyst. That was all you had to say.
I think he will get injured, though.
Well, that's fair. That's a fair point to make, but
because he's injury prone.
But so is Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, but I said I was wrong about that, and that's fine. That's what a prediction is. You're right or you're wrong.
But we're not trying to do predictions. We're trying to speak about the facts. And you just stated all the facts, which everybody knows. He has a terrible injury record. He's been an excellent player at spells. He wasn't a standout at Besiktas, but I don't think there's any reason why he can't come in and bring experience and a level of professionalism to Celtic. He's not going to be expected to come in and play every game. He's not. Celtic aren't, I don't think, falling back on him for Celtic to win the league, but I think he can be an asset for Celtic to use.
What do you think a catalyst is, though? Because a catalyst for me is someone who comes in and plays every game and impacts almost every single game. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
to me, that's what.
Okay, that's fair enough. My catalyst, I think he might be a similar, and I've seen a lot of people making this comparison. It might be a sort of Aaron Moy who comes in.
Or a Tom Rogic kind of guy.
I'm thinking more Aaron Moy in the sense that he comes in with not a lot of expectation. He brings the experience of the Premier League and the professionalism. He doesn't play every game, but when he does play, he offers a lot of quality. I think that's what would be expected of him if he can stay fit. I
think there's one, that's the big thing though, if he can stay fit. I think that's the big difference between him and Aaron Moy. Aaron Moy's injury record was pretty. I don't think he was injured often at his time in the Premier League, his time in Australia, and his time in China. Aaron Moy was pretty consistently fit. I think that is the big issue. And former Arsenal teammate of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who was quite injury prone, made his way up to Glasgow as well.
Aaron Ramsey.
And it didn't work out too well. So, but that's a completely different person, a completely different situation. But I think
expectation as well. Completely different expectation, I think, as well.
Yeah, no, I would agree. The expectation of Ramsey was he would come in and boss the division. Oxlade-Chamberlain's expectation is to just come in and maybe make an impact. Although there are a few people that I've seen that thinks he's going to come in and be like Modric or something. But those you can't trust Twitter fans a lot of the time. All our friends and within group chats, Ethan knows who I'm talking about. But anyway, I feel like we've got a little bit off topic here because we are here to preview the Edinburgh derby. But we ended up spiralling into talking about the title race, which I feel will be on our minds for a very, very long time.
Talking about predictions, and you guys don't like doing predictions, as I've learned the last half an hour, guys, but you got a prediction for tonight's game?
I was just going to hold off on that because I was going to ask the two of you a question first.
On you go.
And then we can do predictions. We'll go for another wee bit, and then we'll end the stream so everyone can get away and watch the game. But I would just wanted to ask you what, in terms of the two managers tonight, who do you think a win's more important for?
That's a very good question.
I think a win's more important for the home manager because, like I said, I don't think they can fall off. I don't think they can afford that. I think Hibs can afford to lose one or two and still make the top four in the league. But I think in terms of what Derek and Rod want to achieve and be champions, I think, as I've said, I think if Hearts don't win any of the next two games, I think you can wave the white flag.
Okay.
I agree with Reagan in the sense of who it's more important for. I think it's always an important game. Derbies are important always for both managers. David Gray, I think there's some Hibs fans doubting him. I think he's got the overall backing of the support, but there's some fans that aren't sure. A win would do massive for him tonight, obviously. But I think the fact that he won the last derby as well probably gives him a little bit less pressure on him. And the points Reagan said about it, I think it's a massive mental thing for a mental hurdle for the Hearts players tonight that Derek McInnes needs to help them get over, because if they were to lose back-to-back games, then they'll be feeling down and defeated going into that massive game at Ibrox. So I think it's a bigger game for the whole of Hearts as a football club, for supporters, players, and the manager. And I think that may we'll get on to predictions, but I think that may play into the High Bees' hands tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So mentioned there, Reagan brought it up earlier. We'll do predictions for tonight's Edinburgh Derby before we leave off. Me and Ethan actually did predictions the other day on our own podcast, The Dugout, although I can't remember exactly what the scoreline was, but I remember who we both said. So I'll throw it over to you first, Reagan, because I'm eager to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Hearts 2, the High Bees 1. I think they'll handle the pressure. I think they'll show the champion mentality. But my point is, if they don't, then I think the bottle will start to get a bit shaky.
You know what, Reagan? I hope that they do show the champions bottle tonight, but I don't think. I think there's too many things going against Hearts in terms of injuries and suspensions, and I think it'll be a big win for the High Bees. I think that they go into the game with not a lot of maybe expectation, not a lot of pressure on the players. They'll have a lot of confidence from the last game, and I just think that they'll get the better of Hearts even at Tynecastle, and I think Hibs will win by 3-1 was my prediction the other day.
That's a big prediction.
Yeah, a massive win for the High Bees. I could be wrong. And I hope Hearts can continue to be in this title race alongside Celtic and Rangers, I'd imagine, right until the end. I hope Motherwell can sort of come up and make it a 4-horse race, because I think it's an excellent spectacle for Scottish.
The helicopter will be changing direction 3 times.
Yeah. But I think Hibs will have too much for Derek McInnes's team tonight. I really do.
I disagree with all of that last part. I don't hope Hearts keep it within this title race. I don't hope Motherwell pull themselves up. I hope they all fall away. But I agree with the first point. I think Hibs will win tonight. And I'm going to go with 2-0 for the High Bees.
Do you think Hibs will win tonight, or do you want Hibs to win?
I think that, Alex, come on, to tell the truth, Alex, what do you genuinely
you might be the neutral host, Alex.
I'm the neutral host, and I genuinely think Hibs will win tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, you've sounded very neutral.
Yeah, you said you hope that Hearts and Motherwell fall away.
Yeah, so
do you not hope Celtic fall away, or do you not expect Celtic to fall away?
Obviously, I hope Celtic fall away, but I don't expect them to fall away. I just feel like they'll always be there with Martin O'Neill widening the whole way to the league title. But no.
I've got a question for you, Alex, just before we head off. So what makes you said obviously that you don't think Celtic are going to fall away, and you gave Martin O'Neill credit there. So what makes you think that Danny Rowe and his players have got the edge over Celtic in the running?
I'm just biased, mate. I don't think I've had that.
Right, okay. That's fair enough. No, that's fair enough.
I don't think I've had that fact. I mean, if you want me to analyse it, I will. I just think
I wanted you to give a sort of like why you've made that prediction.
I think Rangers have had a stronger window. They've shown they can play with multiple different starting 11s and still get results. They can rotate formations. They've got more options tactically than Celtic. I think they can score a more varied, a more variety of goals than Celtic can. I think they're stronger from set pieces. I think they can score. They're starting to score more from open play. The attack's improving. There was another tactical switch up recently as well. Miovski's been playing off Ryan the Derry last sort of half hour of the Kelly game, and then the whole game on Sunday there. So I just think Rangers have Rangers' versatility in their options in terms of tactics and their players gives them the edge in the title race.
Yeah, I think you made really fair points there, and I agree with most of them. The creating the goals, I know that sounds ridiculous to say when they've scored 13 in 2 games, but I will caveat both of them, and I think the next 2 games we'll see how good creating chances this Rangers team really are.
Well, Reagan, do you want my sneak peek for my prediction for the Rangers game tomorrow?
So you hear this, Reagan.
I'll be at some of the matches. So you go, tell me.
Motherwell will have a 0 next to their name. Rangers have a 3. So that was my prediction.
I think we need to. On that note, I think we need to end it because, as Alex says, he's very biased and he doesn't mind it.
Sorry. Motherwell haven't conceded a goal at Fir Park since October and only 5 in the league this season.
I just don't know how you can come to that conclusion, Alex.
What'd you say, Reagan?
I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. Can you explain a bit more about that?
So, in Rangers' last 2 games, they scored 13 goals. Granted,
yes, I know that, Alex.
I know. Wait a minute. This is my logic here.
I'm at the Queen's Park press conference. The Queen's Park manager told me that the squads depleted. They had to play a lot of young players in the squad, and you think because they scored 8 goals at the weekend that they're going to beat Motherwell by 3 goals?
Yeah, hold on a minute. So, granted, against lesser opposition in Kilmarnock and Queen's Park, they're lesser opposition than Motherwell. That's why I've scaled it down to 3. I've not gone with 5. I've not gone with 8. I've gone with 3.
What was the score when they played Hibs like a week ago, Alex? Or just over a week ago?
I think thank you to everyone for listening and watching to the Scottish Football Zone this evening. It's dragged on a little bit. I'm sorry if I've not been the usual standard that Michael brings. I hope you've enjoyed yourself this evening. If you've tuned in to us, just
Alex, are you back on at 10? You back on at 10, Alex?
I will be. Is
that dependent if Hearts win the game?
No, I'm not that bad. I came on this show after Rangers get absolutely battered by Club Brugge. I'm not afraid to.
You didn't watch the second half, if I remember correctly.
No, I didn't watch the second half. No, but anyway, you interrupted my flow there. I was doing my outro. Thank you to everyone for watching, listening. Thank you to you guys. Join us at 10 o'clock for the return leg. The reaction to all the action that happens this evening. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Scottish Football Zone. Follow us on all platforms, and we'll see you at 10 o'clock.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and